Welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show with your host, Johnny. And we have a special guest, Wardog, that will talk as well. We will be going over the border security, the caravans coming through Mexico, and also other issues within our own country. So I will now turn the mic over to Johnny. So here's Johnny.
Thank you, Pete. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year's. I want to welcome you to United Constitutional Patriots Radio, where you not only get vetted news, true news, the news no one else will cover. Tonight, we have a whole lot to cover, folks. I wasn't feeling good the other day. That's why we didn't have our Wednesday show. But we're going to try to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, same time as now. I want to give a shout out to some friends out there. We have had people that have made some really good donations that will help save lives on the border. We now have more shortwave radios, enough to where we can string out to people where they have communication, probably about 10, 15, 20 miles. We also have some night vision now. We need more. And I'll cover all this afterwards because we have so much news. We're going to get the news out first. But again, I want to welcome you. And I want to welcome St. Bernard Parish, the detectives down there that are listening to us. Also, I want to welcome the Mojave County Sheriff's Department out of Kingman, Arizona. And a shout out to Doug, their sheriff. Doug Schuster and Schuster. He's a really good guy, and he is a patriot. And I'm saying, I send out a personal hello to you, Doug. You're a friend of mine, and I appreciate the Christmas card. And also, I appreciate the patches and that you sent from the Mojave County Sheriff's Department. You're doing a great job, sir. I'm glad that you're a part of the Patriot movement. And with that, I am going to turn this over to Nuclear Warrior. He has a lot of information, folks. So this is news you're not going to get on the mainstream radio or TV. So go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike.
Well, thank you, Johnny. Good evening, fellow patriots and listeners and patriots to be. Tonight, I'm going to first start off with something that happened on the night of New Year's Day. Apparently, allegedly, there was an assassination attempt on our president again, and the president was whisked off to a bunker, and the vice president was likewise whisked off to a secure area. And in the process of all of this going on, there supposedly was an attempt to undermine the world economic system. Apparently, some folks that were posing as Marines somehow managed to have access to terminals and attempted to hijack and transfer $5 trillion worth of money out of the U.S. Treasury to another undisclosed location. The people who monitor this kind of stuff saw some unusual activity, and as a precaution, they dove in and discovered the attempt and were able to block it and prevent it from happening. And at the same time, they baffled the hackers, put them in disarray, and Secret Service and agents of the U.S. Treasury were able to round up and apprehend supposedly 50 of these people involved in the plot and also posing as Marines. And on the president's order, from what I gather, they were ordered to be sent down to Guantanamo Bay for intense interrogation. So enough on that part. As far as these being Marines go, one was killed, and rumor has it that there were 3 other individuals that were either injured or killed, probably either Secret Service or other Marines that were genuine. But I can't believe that these 50 people that were posing as U.S. Marines were actual U.S. Marines. Real Marines just don't do that kind of stuff. You know, they have a code of conduct that they live by, and it involves valor, honor, courage, and commitment as the core values of being a U.S. Marine. And you've probably all heard the old saying that once a Marine, always a Marine. And of the ones that I know, I hold that to be true. So these people were supposedly bought and encouraged to try to undermine our economy and our government, and were discovered and foiled. Good job to those people involved, and that just recommits the understanding that we have got to be vigilant for this kind of stuff. The deep state is not going to take a break. They're going to be at this until one of us, either them or us, are no more. So we have to be especially vigilant. We have to do everything we can to support the government, support our president. On with other stuff. Many veterans out there, ever since World War I, and after World War I, I should say, have all been involved in wars across the world, and all of them have been more or less based on a lie. What I mean by that is the deep state, the world cabal, there's a handful of people who control all of the wealth being transferred back and forth in the world. And in doing so, they need wars in order to increase power and increase their monetary holdings. So what they will do is they'll start a war, have one country fighting against another all the time, making money because they're playing both sides against each other. That's been true since World War II. It's been true since Korea. It was true in Vietnam. It's been true in the first Iraq War. It's been true in Afghanistan and true in Syria. And I'm going to just leave that to you all to go and do your research and find out the truth. I've got a few people in the room here that may be able to elaborate a little more on the factual stuff to lead you down the path of truth. And I'll call upon them in a second. But I also would like to make a call to these same veterans that in the past you have been involved in wars all based on lies. I would encourage you to join us because I feel that the war is still on and still coming, and I'd like you to be a part of us in fighting for the truth and justice this time. So if you would like information on joining, helping us with our mission against the border insurgents, the commander, Mr. Horton, will give you some address information and phone calls to call and give you information what's required. And do consider it because it is a worthy cause. After all, we are fighting for our country, whether you want to believe it or not. One more thing, and then I'm going to kick it over to probably Greg for some factual information to lead you on the path to truth. I came home from work this afternoon and was listening as I came through the door to a discussion about impairment, operating equipment while impaired, what types of impairment were involved, et cetera, alcohol, drugs, marijuana, what have you. So I thought I'd just hit the highlights of the U.S. law concerning this stuff. In the United States, the use and possession of cannabis is illegal under federal law for any purpose by way of the Controlled Substances Act of 1970. Under the CSA, cannabis is classified as a Schedule I substance determined to have high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use, thereby prohibiting even medical use of the drug. At the state level, however, policies regarding the medical and recreational use of cannabis vary greatly, and in many states conflict significantly with federal law. The medical use of cannabis is legal with a doctor's recommendation in 33 states, the District of Columbia, and the territories of Guam and Puerto Rico. 14 other states have laws that limit THC content, for the purpose of allowing access to products that are rich in CBD, the non-psychoactive component of cannabis. Although cannabis remains a Schedule I drug, the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment prohibits federal prosecution of individuals complying with state medical cannabis laws. The recreational use of cannabis is legal in 10 states: Alaska, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nevada, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington, the District of Columbia, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Another 13 states, plus the U.S. Virgin Islands, have decriminalized the commercial distribution of cannabis is allowed in all jurisdictions where cannabis has been legalized, except Vermont and the District of Columbia. Prior to January of 2018, the Cole Memorandum provided some protection against the enforcement of federal law in states that have legalized, but it was rescinded by the Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Although the use of cannabis remains federally illegal, some of its derivative compounds have been approved by the Food and Drug Administration for prescription use. Cannabinoid drugs, which have received FDA approval, and there's a whole list of them here, but essentially they're CBDs or what's derived from industrial hemp, and are therefore legal. Although the Drug Enforcement Administration considers the non-CBD as Schedule I drug, it has so far not taken action to shut down any of these sales. So that's the law. Do what you want with it, but just understand that under federal law, it is still illegal for any purpose. So I think that's it for that particular topic as well. And I'm going to call upon Greg to maybe do a little highlighting on some of the individuals and stuff involved in the past wars that I brought to your attention here. Are you able to help me there, Greg?
Yeah, I was. It's been a while since I tracked my brain back that far, because that's some things I used to study a long time ago. But basically, this same cabal, the same banking cabal, that you basically have the formula. Is the idea is to start a war and sell both sides weapons, and if you can wind up getting these countries in debt to you and have, where they owe you money, you can come in and get political influence and eventually take over the banking systems, which has basically been the playbook. And it's taken the Rothschilds actually 400 years, if you want to go back. And much of Thomas Jefferson's writing is based on this, that he had basically read this formula and realized that this is the trend, and he didn't want that to happen to America. So a lot of the things that he says, where debt is the major cause of all war, and many of the statements by Thomas Jefferson, I'll have to think of a few more that come to mind, but he basically said that most war were as a result of debt. And so that's basically what it was. It was the Rothschilds back then for 400 years doing this. And, we move into a more modern time. Now the Rothschilds have got our Federal Reserve, which is now foreign owned by the same international, bankers, the monetary fund that controls it. So it's actually completely illegal. In World War II, Prescott Bush, basically his little firm there provided the initial money, the getting going money and weapons, to help IG Farben Corporation, which also supplied weapons to both sides. Okay, so they supplied weapons to both sides, and so that tells you how far the Bush ties go back into the same formula. And like you say, it's been going, and now the Rothschilds are fighting very hard to start a war, because they don't want us to take back our Federal Reserve, and they don't want us to realize that banks are basically breaking the law, because you can't really loan money without having assets to loan that money against. So a lot of what the banks are doing is illegal, and what the Fed is really doing is completely illegal. Because think about it, they print money that has no backing, that's worth nothing. It's just paper, and they print it, and then they loan it to people for interest, and it's not even Americans. So I mean, the federal government of the United States has absolutely no control over the Federal Reserve, in the words of Chairman Greenspan. So this is the basic cabal that we're fighting with these globalists. Is we need to get our money back and our and get the Treasury under the helm of the United States of America, and get the Constitution back to we the people. So that's basically how long it's been going on. It's the same thing that is going on today. So this is exactly what it is. You hit it on the nose. So thank you, Nuclear Warrior.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. I had a hard time digging back that far in my brain too. And I could go a little bit further back than you, but I'm not going to discuss age at this point in time. We'll leave that for a later time. Another topic of discussion here as of late is the swearing in of the new House of Representatives folks, as well as some new Senate folks, and the Congress now in session. The first words out of the House now that they have a majority is, we're going to impeach the president. Well, it's easier said than done because, first of all, what are articles of impeachment and who can be impeached? Many people don't realize that the president, vice president, all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. The Constitution, Article 1, Section 3, the Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. Well, just as a for instance, what are impeachable offenses in those categories that were just described? Well, the Constitution defines impeachment at federal level and limits impeachment to the president, vice president, and all civil officers of the United States, and it can only be removed for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, what exactly would be considered a bribery? Under high crimes and misdemeanors, three phases, strange phase at the grounds for most impeachments. Actively, the students determine the outcome of hypothetical impeachment proceedings. They did a study on this. The Constitution defines treason in Article 3, Section 3, Clause 1 as treason against the United States. It shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort, and no person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses of the same overt act or on confession in open court. So all of this talk about impeaching the president, you're going to have two witnesses to each count, and then you're going to have to do your research and make sure you can make it stick. So there's been 17 officials impeached over the history of our country. 13 of them have been federal judges. So go figure on that one, huh? Anyway, enough on impeachment right now. Just know that it's probably, and they may try it, but it's likely not going to happen because they just don't have enough impeachable offenses to tally up against our president, the vice president, and some of the officers. I think that catches me up on stuff that I've seen here through the week off and on with my busy schedule. So I'm going to turn it back over to the commander. I think we've got another member of the group in here that has some information to share with us about the insurgents, how they're getting into the country, how they're being moved about, etc. So, Commander, if you would like to turn the floor over to someone else, I'll let you have it back.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Okay, I got Wardog Mike. Wardog Mike's got some information. I think all of you need to pay explicit attention. This is what I've been trying to warn everybody about on the border, what he has to say. After he's done, I'm going to cover some other stuff that we haven't had a chance to talk to Wardog Mike on, but it's about also who is coming across the border, where, who is coming across, and who has let them through. And if this don't make everybody's hair grow 6 inches in 2 seconds, there's something wrong, because this is not good, folks. Go ahead, Wardog. Well, he'll be back. He must be having trouble. Okay, can you hear me now, Wardog? Okay, looks like he is having technical difficulties. Let me know when you can come back in and let me know, Mike. In the meantime, I will cover what I started to. We do have another caravan coming up, 15,000. There's bad weather in New Mexico, and thank God for snowstorms for the first time in years on the New Mexico border. Our boots on the ground down there has informed me that it's been really slow since the storms, which I'm happy about. However, we have had inside people, boots on the ground, coming up from Mexico City. Got a phone call from them yesterday, and they got through at the El Paso area. Now, what they've got through with was MS-13, drug dealers, the 300 and some kids for child sex trafficking, and they didn't stop them at the Texas border. They were able to obtain paperwork illegally, but it looks legal, everything. $200 is what they paid for the identifications or paperwork they need to come across the border. And they bought it in Texas or in Mexico by our representatives of the United States down there, and this paperwork was given to them out of the United States. Now, this is inside information we were given. Now, I find out what she'd been trying to let us know, but they changed and went in through El Paso, someplace between El Paso and Santa Teresa, New Mexico. Area that's a very rough country. We do not have enough men to cover the whole border. We need men because of this. We need a lot of men. These people are coming in here, and they're busing these people now, and it's ICE that's doing it all over the United States to the bus stations, and they are dropping them off with no money in their pocket. They're just moving them. They've moved thousands of them this last 2 weeks, and they're just taking them and releasing them, which Trump signed an order saying they are not to be released, but they're doing it anyway. Now, these people are in your communities, so be careful. Keep your head on a swivel, folks. Down on the border down there, it's hard enough. But now, when you don't have the men here to handle the situation, like I've told, we weren't exaggerating when we said we needed 1,000 men on that border, 189 miles of border to cover. We have people down there right now that are on the border. It's cold. It's been snowing. It's been ice. It's been down here where I'm at. I'm north of the border quite a ways in New Mexico, but we were down to 8 below zero yesterday. Coldest I've seen it since I've been here, since I left Nashville. Down on the border, it was down in the teens. And that means these men down there, they need warm blankets. They need clothes. They need some type of heaters. We have more storms coming through this week. And I don't know if they're going to hit as far as the border or not, but hopefully that it'll be back up where it normally is, the 30s and 40s at nighttime, 50s, 60s daytime. But right now we are needing donations really bad to take care of these guys. We've been sending money down to help them, and we're getting really low on money. Supplies, we need supplies for them. Anything that you would use if you were camping. Please, folks, these men are patriots. They're not being paid to be there. We all need your help. So if you want to make a donation, go to the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page. You can Google it on, and it'll pop up. We have GoFundMe on there and PayPal for those of you who can and are willing to help with donations. If you want to join the men on the border, call me at 505-334-2492. That's 505-334-2492. Call me, please. We need help on the border now more than ever. We have this other caravan coming up. They already found out they can get through Mexico, into New Mexico, and we've got to stop them, folks. For those of you that want to send supplies, like I said, anything camping, everything from flashlights to batteries to pocket warmers to gloves, face covers, whatever you would use if you're camping in the winter. This is what they need. We need all the help we can get, folks. We need more night vision. We do have some night vision now. We do have radios, but we need the help of the public. We need your help, the listeners. You're avid listeners. I know a lot of you out there that listen to us. There's a lot of you. And, I'm really proud to have you on. Again, I want to give a shout out, especially in case they weren't on yet. I want to give a shout out to some true constitutional law enforcement, and that is St. Bernard Parish down in Louisiana. Welcome aboard. I'm proud to have you, and I'm proud to have you as avid listeners. If you want to send supplies, dry goods, food, anything these guys can use, send it to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney. That's Cheney. Mark is his first name, Mark. And you can send it to P.O. Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. I'm going to say the address again. It's United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark, M-A-R-K, Cheney, Cheney, Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. You want to get in direct contact with me, call me at 505-334-2492. Now, at this particular time right now, if anybody wants to call in with any questions, you can call me at 505-334-2492. If anyone wants to call, they do call in. Please wait until the other person is finished talking. I only have 2 lines coming into my office, so one would be on hold. But wait until one of the person is finished with whatever their questions are, what they have to say. Your opinions are important to us too, folks. We need to know that we have your support. And I know that you probably have a lot of questions, but you know what? This is your floor. If you got something to say, I will be happy to put you on the air if you call in. Again, at 505-334-2492. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Nuclear Warrior. You got any? Okay, Greg, you flashed. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you hit on a very good point, Johnny, when you're talking to the public, is we need the people in the public to really kind of watch things like now, like you say, maybe some people on the border are doing the wrong thing and letting some people through. But ultimately, it's up to our communities to take care of our own communities. That's my pitch. And that you can see people that enter your community that are new and kind of check them out and see if they belong here. Here in Southwest Florida, we have a pretty well-run county here, but it used to be kind of like 3 strikes and you're out. The third time an illegal got picked up, you kind of got a couple chances, but it's not like that anymore. Now, if you get picked up and you're here illegally, they send you, they put you in holding and they process you and send you back. So I think it's up to us communities and up to you, the public, to take control of your own towns and your own cities in your own destiny, and to look around and watch who's coming in, and then watch how your county or your city is handling this situation. And if they're not handling it the way the public wants them to handle it, then maybe you need to get involved in your community and say, why are we doing this and why are we doing that? So it's your communities. You should be involved. You have the right to be involved. And I think it comes down to us, our public and our towns, taking care of ourselves ultimately. So I just wanted to throw that out there to the public to remember you're part of this too. We're all part of this, because we all have to keep our eyes open for some things that look dangerous or suspicious, and hopefully call people that will have it checked out. Have people that's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to be wrong if you don't do anything, and then something happens later and someone gets hurt. So,
thank you, Greg. Now I'm bringing something else, the border wall, folks. The president's going to have his border wall, regardless. He already stated. And even if he has to call state of emergency. State of emergency is martial law. Now, if this happens, do not worry about them coming after your weapons. They're not coming after your weapons at all. The martial law is so he can police everything up that is wrong, get the people in jail, and he does have a lot of them in jail since Christmas, folks. You notice some people haven't been in here yet. I can't bring up their names because we don't have the authorization to clear it yet. But some of these names you will shout and cheer. You'll be happy. The head of the snakes are being cut off. And I am so happy and proud of what our president is doing. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to thank our military, the military tribunal. I want to thank all of our officers that are out there putting their lives on the line to keep the American people safe. Well, folks, that includes first responders and patriots. When you see a police officer, thank him. Let him know you appreciate what they're doing. These people are out there to protect you. You have constitutional rights. And any officer that is a constitutional officer will give you every break there is where the Constitution comes in if you have a problem. You know, I've worked law enforcement. I've worked with these people. And a lot of the law enforcement I work with, I love our sheriff's department here. They are really great. They are 100% constitutionalists, and they are not John Waynes. They are they're family men, family people that are doing a job to help keep everybody protected. When you need law enforcement, you call them and they're there. You know how relieved you are. Well, that's the way it is with all of this. Where this kids are concerned, you got so much child crimes going on right now. When you hear your kids talking and they want to tell you something, for God's sake, listen to them. Observe what's going on around them and watch and see what's really going on. And if you see something that's not right, don't take the law into your own hands. I know as a father and a grandfather, if I seen somebody doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing with my kids or my grandkids, it's hard to say what I do. But I'll tell you what, I would hope that I would use my head and call the local authorities and say, hey, this is what's going on. If a situation occurs to where this person, you see them doing something, you can apprehend them as a citizen under a citizen's arrest and hold them for the law. But don't beat them, don't shoot them, don't stab them, don't hit them in the head with a baseball bat, etc. Just hold them any way you've got to until the law can get there. You know, we've had a lot of Americans from World War I all the way back to the 1814, the Revolution, the American Revolution, the Civil War. Americans have given their lives. Our flag has flown. Our flag has stayed there. I'm pretty proud of our flag, folks. It's maybe full of bullet holes from some places, and it might be tattered. But you know what? That stands for us. That stands for God and country. It stands for the American soldiers who have given their lives. We all need to be involved. All of us need to be involved, making sure that our country is free on everything you can, in every way. Nuclear warrior, go ahead. I see a flash.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. I just wanted to echo a little bit on what Greg had mentioned there about being your right to get involved in your community. It's more than just a right; it's your responsibility to get involved in your community for some of this stuff. Well, actually, for all of this stuff. These people that are holding office in your community, your county, your city, your state, and your American Senate and House of Representatives. You elected these people to do what you think is right for the country. If they're not doing what you think is right and for the betterment of the country and the citizenship, get involved. Hold them to task. Make them do the job that you sent them there to do. They promised to listen to you and do your bidding. Make sure that they do it. It's one of these deals that if they're just going to hold the seat in the office and take your tax money and do nothing, well, maybe it's time to hold them to task and let them know that at the end of their term, they're probably going to have to go out and get real jobs. So with that, I also wanted to thank Johnny for listening to that Johnny Cash video that I posted here a few days back about that tattered old flag. That's always been one of my favorites, and everything that he's mentioned in that video holds true. And it should be a call of pride in your country to do what it takes to make sure that justice is served and freedom is reestablished. With that, if Wardog is back in the room and he's able to, and I see he's not back in the room, so we may have to give him another opportunity to show up here. But in the meantime, I'll turn it back to the commander. I see Pete might have something to add there as well.
Okay, Pete. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Pete. Okay, thank you. You know, another thing I want to bring up too tonight, I've hit on the first responders, fire departments, police departments, everybody, but look at our military folks. When everybody, for the veterans to the active military, when you go in the military, you take an oath to defend our country, regardless of who it is or what it is. That oath never dies. Now, I got a lot of veterans that go down on the border with us. They do it because they took an oath, because they want to see our country stay free. President Trump, even tonight in his message, made the statement that our border is wide open. We need the help here. You know, serving your country doesn't mean just going overseas. It means doing what you can to protect the citizens of the United States, doing what you can to protect the livelihood that our Constitution guarantees us. I'm going to repeat that. To protect your rights as our Constitution guarantees us. If we can't protect our own rights, protect our own people, we have a serious problem. And with everybody, these caravans, this invasion, and I've said it almost every show, they are coming here in groves, by the thousands, carrying their country flag, burning the American flag, and screaming obscenities to our president and the American people. They're not coming here as your friends, folks. I'm sorry if it offends people that they think, well, these poor people, they are coming up here to make a better life for themselves. How can they make a better life for themselves when we have so many people living on the streets right now? We have our veterans out there. We have our homeless. We have kids out there that are homeless that need help. I want to do all I can to help them, but we're limited to what we can do. United Constitutional Patriots aren't just people that go down to the border. When there are disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, we go to wherever they're at, and we do everything we can to help, from taking supplies to doing search and rescue, working with the Cajun Navy during the flooding, to you name it. We are there because we want to help the people that are in trouble. Well, folks, we've been there for you. I don't know how many times over the years. I can't even count them. We've been down to Shepherd, Texas. We went down to Shepherd, Texas, down there on a situation and took care of it. Got to thank you from everybody, from the Texas Rangers to the mayors of the town, to you name it, because we went down there and we peacefully took care of a situation where the government was trying to force himself onto that particular town. That opened up eyes. They found out that we're not just a bunch of these gun-toting cowboys. 99% of us are all veterans, military trained, and we have one goal in mind: protect your rights as an American citizen, protect your Bill of Rights, protect you personally. If you have a problem, you need to know your rights, your Constitution. Get the Constitution and read it. Understand it and trust it, because this is what President Trump is doing. He is wanting to go back to the original Constitution, to where you are a citizen of the United States of America and you are under no restrictions of these new laws that the left has brought in, changed laws. You realize for every law they have 20 laws contradicting it. Now, my son's a state trooper, and when he told me that, I couldn't believe it. It just blew me away. But they pick and choose the law that they want to use. That basically, I guess the best way is to where they can use it against you. This is what we're fighting against, folks. Not just the border. The United Constitutional Patriots are fighting for your constitutional rights. We have one of the best constitutionalists in the world, literally. His name is Ed. He worked in the House of Senate for 15 years as a constitutional advisor to the Republican Party. He worked in the state of Oregon for 5 years as with a Republican senator up there as a constitutional advisor. And this is the man we turn to when we need advice and help. And this man, in fact, Greg can fill you in on him even more. This guy is just awesome. And he is the one that has filed charges against every, and I'm saying not literally, every sheriff's department and Democrat, what would you call them? Politicians file charges on him. And the man never loses. This guy never loses. Greg, you can go ahead and fill him in on Ed.
Yeah, we have our prayers out for Ed right now. He's in the hospital, and he's lost a lot of his heart capacity, so he's a little distraught right now. But we should be getting all of his work up at Love Tour Media at Blogspot, and we should have the forums in that, because this is really essential stuff to learn. Because if you understand how to go about the court system, you won't lose, and if you kind of play it by their game and their rules, you basically wind up plea bargaining for fear or whatever the situation is. But it's really essential stuff going back to the original Constitution, and it'll have a lot of great implications. And I think that's part of what's going on with possibly getting rid of the illegal Federal Reserve, which is really just a Ponzi scheme, by world bankers, and probably the IRS with that. There's still going to be tax, whether it's a federal sales tax or whatever. We're still going to, it'll still be handled usually more in a statewide mode. Taxes are kept more local, statewide, I think. You would have to consult Ed on that, but you can see all of his videos at Oregon Trackers on YouTube. and neworegontrackers.com. And, he's really somebody who's got a lot of great videos where he really slows down and takes you through it. So I would really recommend checking him out. Wanted to say a little bit more about what Pete said and the situation with open borders. And, we want legal immigration, and we use legal immigration for labor. But I think the thing that you have to realize is it's not good for illegal labor without unions. The labor gets exploited. The builders here would make money, but the labor was underpaid. Now, the ones that came in legally after the hurricane were well paid, making $25, $30 an hour. There's advantages to bringing in people with skills that can do things. But, I had just sent some things to Pete on this today that basically I think I was trying to evaluate labor and sent some ideas. But I see a lot of people that are collecting disability that in a computer world really have a lot of time to be on computers and could be helping out, possibly with something like Love Tour Media at Blogspot. You could be sharing it with other blogs or a new worldwide network like President Trump is talking about or something like that. There's a lot of different things that people could do on computers. And I think that the caps that they put on people on SSI and some other things are disincentives and basically force people into a caste system, because if they make too much money, they start taking money away from their disability or whatever it is. And that really creates a disincentive and keeps people down in a certain class because it keeps people from trying new things. And they may not have found what they're best at yet. They may have found a whole new selves for themselves. Sometimes after even a handicapped person may start a whole new life as a designer or something they never even knew they could do. And so we want to give people incentives to use American labor, because I feel like a huge part of our labor force is not being utilized, and it really greatly affects our gross domestic product. And I think we could have a much more profitable society with more upward mobility, where people maybe don't stay down. They don't stay because you're on disability, you're always going to be broke, or you don't want to get into the Social Security money or whatever monies they cut back as disincentives. I would like to see those greatly raised to where people at least want to maybe take a shot at something new, and maybe it doesn't work out, and maybe they can't handle the job. Maybe they try it and they can't do it. But I would rather see people try, and for us to use this great amount of labor that I see out there. And I think we got into this a little bit about I'm a libertarian, so I just want to see people go to work, and I don't know how to handle parts of our society that these kids brought up with this fast money idea, and they think they're going to make the easy money. Then they go to prison and they come out and they think they're going to make the easy money again. And there's this whole cycle, but we really need to get the people in the right mindset spiritually. And I think that they have to believe in the American dream again. And I think that's kind of what the problem is that a lot of the youth today don't believe that there is an American dream. And a lot of people don't believe there's an American dream for them. And we need to bring the American dream back to make America great again. So we need to look at some things to utilize the people that we have, and the people that are maybe on the wrong track, that are going to find out they had the wrong ideas on what's cool and what the best way to make a lot of money is, and those sorts of things. So it's a personal growth thing, but it's a societal growth thing. And I just don't feel like we're allowing people to enter the job market. We have more jobs available than we have jobs, people seeking jobs, but yet we lose a lot of jobs in a huge section of the society because they're on disability, or maybe they're in a situation where they're getting a monthly income and they don't want to interrupt it, or whatever. I'm just interested for anyone's ideas out there. You can always message me at Love Tour Music Wave as we contemplate how we're going to all keep making America greater. And God bless the Patriots, the Constitutional Patriots, and go to their page, United Constitutional Patriots, on Facebook as well, and hopefully help them out and get involved in your communities. But that's about all I wanted to say for now, I guess, Johnny.
Thank you, Greg. Folks, there's so much as individuals that we can all do together. First thing we got to do is unite. Second is we need to look out for our own people before we can think about looking out for somebody else. We have really cold weather up here. Right now, there's a cold front all the way across the country, and they're having weird weather. It snowed in Phoenix, Arizona. We have veterans and homeless people living on the streets that are willing to work, but they can't get a job because they don't have an address. You have to have an address to be able to get a job. So catch-22. We have kids out there with their parents on the streets. California has nothing but tent city. These people just want to have their livelihoods back. We cannot help them get their livelihoods back if we're being invaded by other countries. And the people like the governor of California and other governors across the country, sanctuary states, how can they go to work if we have 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 1 million people coming across the illegal, taking those jobs, working for pennies, putting them deeper into debt, and making it harder on the people that are homeless that can work if they were given the opportunity? If you see someone out there, you see a veteran, a homeless person, they're not there because they want to be. They were put in that situation. Help. The Bible says, give to the poor, help the poor. And when I see these vets out there, and when I got extra money, yes, I do. I'll hand them a $5 or a $10 or a $20 bill. I was amazed. I watched a guy the other day at the Walmart. I gave him $20. He was hungry. He went into that store, and I watched him off and on, and he spent that $20 on food. He went back out, and he went out ahead of me. When I went out, I went over, and he's on the corner, and he's feeding these other homeless guys with the money we gave him to eat on. These are real people, folks. They're out there freezing, and the government's not doing anything to help them. I see the American people, they'll go by, well, I'm not going to feed that bum. He's not a bum. He's put in a situation. He's a human being. And, I read a deal on the internet the other day that was talking about an angel. He was put on a street corner, and a family helped him out. And when they helped him out, he gave back tenfold to a family that didn't even have the money to help him. That's what we got to do. We got to start caring about our people. Take care of our people. Help them when you can. I know you can't help everybody you see out there, but when you can, don't just walk away from them. Help them. Give what you can. That's all you can do. Nobody has to be elaborate and pick them up, take them home, stick in their garage or in a spare bedroom or anything. But help them get something to keep them warm. A jacket, shoes, a shirt. This is what will help them if you can't help them any other way. The first thing you got to do is learn how to love the neighbor. And you got to learn to trust and believe in humanity again. If you lose your faith in humanity, you have nothing left. Don't let the Democrats, the left, whatever you want to call them, knock you so low that you turn and walk away from somebody who's truly in need. Our people that are on the border, they're in need. And we're going to take care of them one way or the other. With us, we need your help, yes. But there's a lot of people need help too. But our men and women that are on the border, and not just our Patriot group, there's a lot of good Patriot groups out there. And they have their fundraisers. They're all looking for help so they can take care of the men that are willing to give their life on the border for you again. The men that took an oath to defend your constitutional rights. And if you're a veteran, or if you're just a civilian that figures you might be able to do anything, we need people with medical knowledge. We need people that we can use for running supplies down to them at the border. We need people who can do what has to be done. You don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to have a weapon. You know, there's other places we can use you, but we need your help. We need your support. We need to keep America free. And this might just be a small part of it on the New Mexico border. But the problem is this border is wide open. And when I say wide open, I'm not exaggerating. They got about a 3-foot steel and wooden fence goes all the way across 189 miles. This is where the drug cartel has been running drugs and kids for years. Had we had the men on the border that we needed when they came through with these 380 kids, the 380 kids right now, chances are, would not be where they were being taken to. You know, it really bothers me because we put a plea out for help and it's not coming in. It's like, you know, it is coming in, but it's like nobody hears what we're saying or they don't care. But if these caravans coming through here, or these, I call them invaders, these are young kids from, well, like kid to me, I'm almost 70, but these people coming in are fighting age kids and men. There's 90% of them are men, very few women and children. Folks, they're bringing disease up here. They're bringing, you name it, it's happening. And we need your help. So with that, I'm gonna, anybody else have anything they want to say?
I could hit the highlight of essential items for the folks down on the border in case somebody didn't see it on the website.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, these folks that are headed for the border to be our eyes and ears and boots on the ground and try to keep the invaders out as best they can. They're going to need some supplies, and monetary donations go a long way. Gift cards like for Walmart or gas cards for fueling any generators that we might happen to be able to get to them. So they have a little bit of power. They can run some electric heaters and stuff and maybe have a chance to warm up, get off of the border proper, and get back into the rest area, warm up a little bit, make some hot meals, what have you. Also stuff like tents, tarps, ground sheets for like the tent footprint, keep the barrier between the cold and the ground reaching into the tent so much. Likewise with air mattresses, sleeping pads, cots, tarps, etc., to be the barrier between the sleeping bag and the cold ground that's going to suck the heat out of their bodies. Things like toilet paper, paper towels, things called a toilet trowel. Picture this from maybe some World War II movies where the GIs are digging their foxholes and stuff with these collapsible, foldable shovels. That is considered like a toilet trowel as well. Biodegradable soap, wet wipes, hand sanitizers, washcloths, towels, torches, headlamps, lanterns, batteries or lantern fuel, depending on whatever type of lantern you're able to send down there. The sleeping bag should be rated down to at least 25 degrees. And here lately, I'm wondering if that's even rated low enough, because it has been getting significantly cooler than 25 degrees on the border here as of late. Insect repellents, not so much so right now, but maybe through the spring, summer, and the fall months. Hygiene items like toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, razors, shaving cream, dental floss, lip balm, nail clippers. Binoculars are a big help. It improves their field of vision for far out. Night vision, stoves, propane, or these canned fuel, camping grills, what have you. Cooking utensils, pots, pans, utensils for eating, knife or fork, spoon, what have you. Medical supplies, bandages, wound closure strips. Hopefully, we're not going to end up in any kind of firefights down there, but external puncture type penetration wound care, antiseptic swabs, tweezers, bee sting kits, not necessarily so much right now, but in the spring and summer, sterile compresses. Likewise, hopefully there won't be any firefights and need those. Blankets, bottled water, freeze-dried foods, painkillers, antihistamines. There are some allergens down there. Eye drops, because the air, it can be dry and it can be dusty. Latex gloves, snake bite kits, not so much right now, but when the weather warms up, they may be out sunning. Rehydrating salts and tablets would be a big thing for keeping electrolytes up where they need to be. This is just highlights, folks, and we've got a complete list on United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page. You can find it there. Folks, it's getting down to the wire. We've got this huge caravan coming up from the south again to join what's already here, and it can only mean trouble. We have got to stop this insurgency right here, right now. If you can help, please do. If you're unable to help with any of these items, camping gear that you're not going to be using for a while, send it down. Likewise, if you don't have any camping gear, what have you, if you can do monetary donations. And if you're unable to do any of this stuff, prayers can go a long way to helping these folks and helping our country. Group prayer is even more substantial because it collectively it has more power than the individual sums. Veterans, if you want to help save the country and you want to do it for the right reason this time, feel free to contact the commander with the phone number or the postal address, and we will certainly put you to good use. We certainly need your help if you can provide. Back to you, Commander.
Thank you, Mike. And folks, these are essentials, and I know it sounds like a lot, but when you're in a tent on a border around the clock, watching for movement so you can contact the Border Patrol, State Patrol, or the forest rangers are down there now. We don't have any military down there. Our governor, even our new governor, will not put men on the border. So it's up to us. It's up to us to protect not just the state of New Mexico, but our country, because these people come through, they're going to be going to all states, and it's going to make it harder on you, your families, and there's a crime rate is going to just blow up. Now, like I said earlier, as it is right now, they're taking busloads of people all over the United States, kicking them out with no money of any kind. Just release them. Where are they going to get their where are they going to get their money or how are they going to survive? They're going to steal, they're going to rob, they're going to kill. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody. I'm just making it. I'm just making it the way that I'm telling you the way it is. I guess is the best way I can put it. So if you want to donate, again, please donate to the United Constitutional Patriot on Facebook. There's a GoFundMe there. There's also a PayPal. If you want to join us, boots on the ground, call me, 505-334-2492. I will give you instructions on where you have to go and what you have to do. We have certain rules and laws we got to go by to take these men to the border because they've got to be vetted. We have to have a list that we give the authorities down there so they know who is who on the border so they don't get arrested or harassed. You can send supplies to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney, at P.O. Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. or you can call me at 505 334 2492. Now, the United Constitutional Patriots is a registered organization. We are registered with the federal government, and we also are registered with the state of New Mexico here in Farmington, New Mexico. So it's not hard to check us out. We do not any money wherever it goes at any time. If someone requests to see our records, you're more than welcome to go through our records and see where we spend the money. None of it is used. Nobody takes any money for personal gain or to pay us for what we do. We're all doing this for nothing. But we need help. America needs help. New Mexico needs help. The men on the border need help. President Trump, right now, he is going through hell trying every way he can to protect the American people. He knows our situation here on the border. We do have direct contacts through our people. We have direct contacts to the White House where we get messages to him anytime we need. And he does respond. And he knows what the situation is. But his hands are tied because of the martial law. He cannot order patriots on the border because it's treason if he does. Now, if we weren't in a martial law, that's a different story. But we all have one goal: to protect the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and protect your lives and protect our country, to keep it free. That's what we're about, folks. Again, I want to thank all the law enforcement out there that are doing your job. Be careful. Our prayers are with you. The first responders, the military, our president, and each and every one of our listeners. I want to say God bless you. And with that, I'm going to turn this over. Chuck, do you want to say the closing prayer, or you have anything you want to say prior to this?
Well, no, the only thing I want to mention is that today marks basically 13 days that Q has been dark. So a while back we were all talking about, the 10 days of darkness and all that. Well, Q went dark on December the 22nd, and today is January the 4th. So this makes 13 days that he's been dark. Hopefully we'll be hearing from him soon. Lord, if you'll bow with me for a moment, folks. Lord Jesus, we come before you at this time to thank you, Lord, for this another opportunity that we've had to come here and do this great work that we do each and every week, to bring news and information to the American people that's much needed. We thank you, Lord, for those who tune in each time to listen. I ask you to bless them. And hopefully we have blessed them in a way that is in a manner in accordance with your will and pleasing unto you. We thank you, Lord, for each and every member of this team here. They work very hard at what they do. Everyone here loves this country and loves this president. And, of course, Lord, we love you. We thank you, Lord, for the many abilities that you've given us to do these things. We thank you for this president. And we ask you, Lord, to bless him and his family and those that are working together with him to the betterment of our country and the defeat of the deep state. We ask you to let your blood of protection be upon them. Let your angels be encamped around about and stand and watch over them. We ask you to continue to thwart the works, the plans, and the schemes of the wicked one against him and against us. We ask you, Lord, to continue to remove the wicked and the corrupt from our government, that your agenda might continue to go through. We ask you now, Lord, to continue with us all throughout this night and into the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us. Draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. For we do ask it all in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Amen. And thank you, Chuck. Again, I want to thank all of our listeners tonight. We will be back on, if we don't have any difficulties or anything, we should be back on Monday night, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, Wednesday and Fridays. Apologize for not being on a couple of times here the last couple of weeks, but I was under the weather. And then we had some difficulties. And right now, I don't know if Pete's back or not, but might have an open mic here for a little bit because Pete had to go to the 7-Eleven. He runs our server. He's in California. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, goody. That means kind of new topic. I want to know what the audience out there is interested in, what their thoughts are on this, the medical situation. You know, there's people out there that are saying there should be universal Medicare and just do it all. But I worry about putting the government in charge of everything. And I know that Johnny lives in a real progressive state where they take care of people and they actually don't let people go without surgeries they need and certain things like that. So there's this community and state angle on it. And I know it's something that America is grappling with. Obviously, President Trump has gotten rid of a lot of the worst parts of Obamacare. And as people talk about, you know, what the right solutions are, and obviously more competition is part of the solution. But people who know me or follow my lives that love tour music wave, I ultimately believe that new technologies and natural things basically can take the place of big pharma and even surgeries. Frequency technologies, you'll see Digital Ice at Love Tour Music Wave would basically end 95% of the medical conditions out there. So you wouldn't need all these expensive pills and all these expensive hospitals. So I think there's going to be a leap in technology when the deep state goes down. And I know President Trump will go after big pharma, deep state, and I'm sure they're deep in at the Clinton Foundation. So we'll be seeing some heads roll, I'm sure, in big pharma just from the Clinton Foundation investigation. At least I believe so. And so I think ultimately medical is a very interesting topic. Obviously, if we're spending $2 to $3 trillion a year on medical and the government's paying 80%, it basically, the formula is for disaster, just about any way that you slice it. So we need to reevaluate. And, you know, I hate to see all these senior citizens all their little checks being eaten up by the pills and stuff like that. It's very, very sad the way that big pharma just takes money from people that don't even have money. So there's definitely some things going wrong, and we're going to make America great again. I would look forward to seeing some of our audience's ideas, and they can type in on our chat lines and throw some ideas out there. If you want to contact me at Love Tour Music Wave, I like to consider these policies and suggest ideas. So it's really an interesting topic that we have to start really thinking about of taking care of people. I don't like hearing people saying that they, died because they couldn't get a surgery. And I think President Trump and his right to try is a great thing. I think patients' rights are a great thing. And I just need to think that we really need to really take a long, hard look at the whole medical industry and hopefully allow more natural cures and also new technology that might be costly to big pharma, but less costly on the average American that can't afford a lot of these things. So it's really a sensitive subject with people because they don't want to have to pay. And Medicare does sound good on paper, but anytime we give government full control, I personally get worried a little bit. But on the other hand, insurance companies for profit worries me too. I mean, if you're an insurance company, shouldn't it be like not for profit? Because really, aren't you trying to make money off people's misery? And then when there's a disaster or a health thing, they don't have the money or they deny the coverage. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. We like competition, but because we want the big pharma to charge less for our prescriptions, so we want the insurance company to negotiate with them and keep our costs down. But on the other hand, the insurance companies often deny care that people really seriously need. and do not cover. So it's really a sensitive topic for people. And I think we all have to put our heads together because it's our country and get our best ideas. Send your ideas to me at Love Tour Music Wave. I just wanted to throw that in. So we had some extra time. I wanted, maybe we can do a show and see what people's ideas are on how to make healthcare better. You live in kind of a model state, Johnny, and maybe sometimes we learn how to do things better as a country by looking at a state that's doing it right. And you guys take care of people better in your state for the most part. So maybe it's something that's about educating and being good citizens and making our cities and our states better ourselves. And how do we do that? So be an interesting topic. So I thought we had extra time. I wanted to hit on that. It seems to be big on the internet out there right now, what to do about healthcare. So just thought I'd throw that in, Johnny.
Well, thank you, Greg. I'm going to hit on that too while we're waiting on Greg, or waiting on Pete to get back, so we can end the show. But I got a phone call from my foster brother today. He's in Wichita Falls, Texas area, and he was informed he's on Social Security disability. He's a diabetic. They had to remove one of his legs. He's going into the hospital either later this evening or in the morning because he has infection in his other foot. But they informed him that he doesn't have dental program, and he's on Medicaid and Medicare. And in Texas, he can't get get his dental work taken care of. And they said they're afraid to work on him because he's diabetic. Well, there's something wrong with this picture. This Medicaid and Medicare that they have in the state of New Mexico, you have everything from dental to you name it, and they cover you. In a lot of states, they do. But how can the state of Texas get away with it? It don't make sense to me. It seems like a revolving door with problems in different states on what you can do with Medicaid and Medicare. I thought all of Medicaid and Medicare was the same nationwide, but evidently it's run by the states, from what I understand, individually. Well, that has to be changed. It's got to be changed, not just because of my foster brother. It's got to be changed because the people need medical treatment. Same way like veterans. Veterans cannot get dental care. They can get everything else, but they can't get dental care. What is wrong with that picture? That needs to be changed. The veterans, above all, as far as I'm concerned, the veterans deserve every medical treatment that's available to them. They earned it when they went overseas and picked up weapons and put their lives on the lines, got wounded. There's a whole lot wrong with this, and we the people are the only ones that can change that. And it takes whatever we have to do to get the job done. I don't know. Now, the one thing I don't know if medical is a constitutional right or not, but I think it should be a constitutional right, especially if you served in the military, to be able to get this dental. Another thing too is your IRS and your Social Security. That money in Social Security is your money. How can they tell you that you can only get anywhere from $500 to $1,100 a month when you worked all your life and saved? And when you do pass away, where does that money go to? Back into the corporation. And this is what is wrong with all of this. And before I go, if there's anybody has any questions or anything, I'm going to here for the next couple of minutes while I'm talking. Anybody want to call me, have any comments? Call me at 505-334-2492. I'll be happy to put you on the air. Pete is back. Thank you, Pete. But we were able to cover a couple of other things. Anybody else want to cover anything before I close the show down? Go ahead, Greg.
Well, we can talk about this on the next show or whatever, too. It looks like Pete must be back now, but I just wanted to say that the whole system, we really need to look at all of it. I think, should hospitals really run for profit? Should they really make profit on sick people? Old folks' homes. There's a lot of people making big money on these retirement homes. These, a lot of these places where people are forced to go when they're older and stuff like that. Prisons, should prisons be privatized? It's almost like slavery at that point. And there's the sense of justice can give way to the sense of profit, as it seems to have in the privatized business of prisons, which is actually on the New York Stock Exchange. These things trade there. It's like slavery as a business. So I think we have to ask ourselves, maybe as a society, as we start to look at this, like which things, like I say, even insurance, they don't want to pay for a lot of these medical things. And it's very sad, and the basic answer is no, until you fight with them long enough. They say, okay, it's covered. And then they finally cover it. But they terrorize people in the process. And we really shouldn't have this type of a medical system where there's got to be some changes. And I don't know what the answers are, but I just wanted to expand on that just a little bit more. But I also wanted to talk about a little bit more. Go to Love Tour Music Wave on Facebook and see the digital ice technology, which is basically Tesla type technology. And you'll see like people, bad knees, bad backs, bad shoulders, brain injuries, all kinds of things that basically can be healed and regenerated biotissue by like a doctor's, a bones on Star Trek. He just holds it over and it basically regenerates your atoms in your cells. And that's about the only way that I can see is if they actually allow technology and medical things they know that are out there to start helping people and, defeat the deep state at Big Pharma. And otherwise, I just only see a medical collapse at the prices, what it costs to go to the hospital when you get old and you're on millions of dollars in bills that, and in the end, you didn't really even pay that much in tax. I just don't see how that works. I just don't see in the end how you can generate these enormous bills and the taxpayers are supposed to eat it. And somehow this is supposed to work out in the end, or people just can't afford insurance or they're not getting medically covered. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on this. I want to hopefully bring this up on another show, but it's an interesting topic of maybe looking at the whole system a little bit closer. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. Keep our men on the border in your prayers, please. And another thing I'm going to ask you to do is pray for our president. He is being hit from all sides, but he is winning. He's already said he's got a way to build this wall, and he's going to do it if he has to call whatever it is he's going to do. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you all for listening. God bless you. God bless America. Your kids have something to say to you, folks. Listen to them. Be very vigilant to what they say. They know what's going on, and they can be your ears and your eyes. Something is not right. Please, listen to them. Check it out. Call 911, whatever is necessary. And God bless you. God bless our president. God bless all of our law enforcement and our first responders and our military and our patriots. Good night. God bless you. Till we see you, we'll see you Monday night. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you for joining the United Constitutional Patriots Radio show. Our next show will be on Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for watching the show, and God bless all you Patriots.